All right. Okay, cool. So let me see. Let me share my screen. All right, good. Okay, so I'm gonna reiterate a little bit on what's going on with Bitcoin, and I'm gonna try to make it simple. I think we did a couple of videos like this, but just to give you an idea, right? So this was a TA from last week, but I'm still pretty much valid on this. I'm just gonna remove this one, but you can see it's actually quite good. So if I zoom in a little bit more, so where are we with Bitcoin and what's going on with the market at the moment? So we are being in this very, and I'm going to zoom in a second, but very tight range in between 27,000 and about 29,000 when we hit 29,000 a couple of times. So what where are we going from here? So the first thing I was looking at last week is this, uptrending channel from in between the two white lines. Let me try to remove a little bit of noise so you guys can see better. There we go. So if I just extend this line, which was, pretty spot on again, the wick of this red candle just touch and bounce from that, we are trading within this channel. And what I would expect in Bitcoin to do, especially given, if we look at the higher level here, given the rejection that we had at the 28,500 level, here I would expect Bitcoin to retest some of the lower levels. So from here, I would expect it to retest and swipe some further liquidity at the $25,000 level, which is our previous resistance that was broken in mid-March. So that's still my thesis here, and of course, I don't want to give any financial advice. It's just purely educational, but I do still think we're going to retest these lows, and I do still think it's unlikely that we'll see a bull run from here. Where do we go from the 25,000? Uncertain as of now. I think that will depend on market conditions, but I do see Bitcoin in the next few weeks kind of trending a little bit lower. And if we look at the Fibonacci, which is something else that we look at, the Fibonacci values, the 61, which is the most reliable, is about 23,000, which is the median of the previous range. If you look at the 30, we're kind of in that support resistance zone that we need to flip. So that also gives me a little bit of confirmation there. Something else that I always look at is the relative strength index. So let me see. I think we cleared it up. Let me just bring it up. 1 second. All right. So if we look at the relative strength index here, you can see the RSI, and RSI kind of indicates the momentum of the price, right? It's being slowly downtrending. And if you look at the same time frame in Bitcoin, we're once again uptrending. Now that's called a bearish divergence. And it's a bearish signal. It means that we expect Bitcoin to go down. And if I go back, we have seen this. This is not the first time we see it. We've seen this already. Like if we go back at in January, we were massively downtrending on the RSI, and then on the same exact time frame, if I trace it from here to here, we're uptrending. And then, of course, at one point, that broke into this massive, pullback all the way from 20,000 to $19,600. So we're seeing kind of the same situation here. And, if we look at it in metrics and in terms of percentage, although I don't terribly think this is extremely valuable, like, past performance is not an indication of future performance, but 20% was the drop last time. If you look at 20% from where we're now, I bet you that we're probably going to fall in the same range. So that's a 10%. And that's about 20%. So we would retest or go back down to that low. And in terms of moving averages, we would go back to our 200 days moving average. And if you look at what happened the last time, went all the way down, we actually broke below the 200 days moving average. So I'm still not exactly bullish on Bitcoin, and I still think we are due a retest on Bitcoin. Another signal that I just want to show you before we move to something else is the MACD line. So moving average convergence divergence. So here what we look at is the MACD line breaking or passing below or above the signal line. So here you can see, for example, the last time, let me make this a little bit bigger. So the last time the MACD line went below the signal line was just a few days before we had, a small dip, a small dump here. And then if you look at it again later on, we're seeing another signal just before the 20% crash. And then we've seen it crossing above again, and that was here just before the run all the way to 28k, and now we're seeing here again, and we just crossed below the signal line, and so I would expect, through the downside based on the signal.